Hi everybody and welcome back to my modeling channel. So today we're going to build an Embraer 190 from Revell, scale 144, and I'm just going to build the model straight out of the box, so no aftermarket decal, just on the Lufthansa regional livery. So let's open the box and see what we have inside. So we're going to start with the instruction sheet and the decal sheet. So as you can see, the instruction sheet is in color. It's almost like a little booklet, and you have all the information required with all the colors, the paint description, the list of all the parts that you have, and all the instruction sheet. Very easy to handle. I think it's going to be an easy build. Then we come to the colors and the decal sheet, and as you can see, it's really nicely done. Lots of colors, so you can't be mistaken with everything. So a very good instruction sheet. Now we're gonna go on the decal. So you have a beautiful decals. Actually, you have the options of painting the tail basically in all blue, or you can have it just as a simple decal. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do, but probably I would think that I would paint in dark blue and add the Lufthansa decal on top of it. So you have all the windows. You even have the window frame, the silver window frame, which is quite nice. Panel lines, escape routes, and overwing exits, and of course the Lufthansa regional. Now we're gonna move to the kit itself and see what we have in the how many sprues. So initially the kit is composed of basically 3 sprues, and we're gonna detail them one by one. So the first one is about the fuselage. You have the right side of the fuselage, you have a wing, you have the underbelly fairing, you have of course an engine, so basically one is dedicated for one side of the kit. You have all the wheels and the engine fans as well, some wings fairing. Now the second sprue basically is the cockpit window, as you can see. And now we're gonna go on the other parts of the fuselage, the other wing, of course one engine. All the engine details are here, the undercarriage as well, and we have the cockpit. So you have the options of doing a cockpit on that aircraft. So, but I won't bother too much about that, as we won't be able to see much of the details. So I will just paint it clearly in a light gray, do a little bit of shading, but not much on that aircraft. I'll do detailing on other kits sometime. And that's it for that 195, that Embraer 190. So enough of talking, and let's start building.
So we're gonna start this build by preparing our parts, and on this build, as I was away from home, I forgot to take my painting tools and my painting kit. So I decided to build all the cockpit, but I will do that when I get back at home, and you will see the result is not so bad actually. So we're gonna put, of course, the cockpit, we're gonna set it up, and then what we're going to do, we're gonna add some modeling paste to the kit, of course, and that will allow the kit to stay on the front, on the nose gear, instead of sitting on its tail. So for this I use some clamps as well, as I had some issues on some former kits. Then what I'm doing now, I'm gonna put the main landing gear wheel well to the underbelly. Then we're gonna start working on the wings, and those wings, well, there was a little bit of a kit preparation, but nothing major, I would say. It went pretty well. just to remove the extra plastic on coming from the sprue, and then we were able to set up also all the flaps fairing. It's now time to start working on our engines, and for this initially I'm going to start to work on the core. There is of course a little bit of preparation to remove the extra plastic. Then I'm going to use the standard Tamiya correction, the standard Revell glue. After that there would be the exhaust of that engine, and there was just a little bit of preparation on that part, as there was quite a little bit of plastic remaining from the sprue. After that we add the fan disc, and then we're gonna let this dry for a little bit. While the engine are drying, we're gonna start to fill all the gaps on the fuselage, and for this I will use the gray Tamiya putty, and I will fill all the gaps on the fuselage. And what I will do, and this time actually, and I will do also the wings. For this particular kit, this time I will try to not fill the windows and the windscreen, as I want some of my viewer to see this as well. Sometimes I had some requests. And then once the putty has dried, of course we are going to remove all the extra putty with some sandpaper. For this initially I use a 600 sandpaper, that's the grade on the sand, and then of course I removed everything slowly, and I'm using also a lot of water that allow to avoid to have too much dust around, and that sits very well in top of on the bottom of that bowl. And actually this is one of the best way, I would say, and it's also not too abrasive on the plastic. So once I was back, I decided then to paint that cockpit. So for this initially I use a very light gray, and I use that for all the panels. Then what I did is I was using a lower gray color to paint the seats, and then I had a little bit of black for the glare shield and the yoke. Honestly, you can't see much of a difference when you finish this. Then I add of course I add the windscreen. Then I'm going to remove the extra putty from the wings. I have to say that you can't see much of the cockpit, even sometimes if I really enjoy to do detailing and putting all the instrument panel, and this is more or less something for the modeler himself. It's something you enjoy doing, but honestly on a close-up it's very hard to see all those little details, but it's up to you if you want to do it or not. So now what I will do, I will remove the extra clear plastic and try to correct as well the extra plastic on the windscreen. Then I will glue the wings to the fuselage, and this went pretty easily. It was nothing major. After that, of course, I will let it dry. I'm gonna work while it's drying on those engines, and initially I'm gonna use that gray mix that I'm using for the core regard, which is a mix of metallic and light gray together, and then I will put that on the fan disc. Then I'm gonna add some metallic paint on the back basically of those engines, as we need to start coloring them. Now I will fill all the gaps between the wings and the fuselage with some gray Tamiya putty. Now we're gonna remove the extra putty from those wings, the wing roots and the attachments, and of course I'm gonna use the same sandpaper that I used previously for that model. So it's a 600 grit once again, and that does the job. And then you can use at the end, toward the end, when you finish and you want to get a pretty good finish, you can go up to 800 or 1000, which will do really a very good job. Then what we're going to do now, we're going to put the cone of those engines, and for that I use a black paint. Then we're going to put the engine lips, and we're going to attach them. So what I do is I paint with a light gray the intake of those engines, and there will be some different color, of course, between the fan disc itself. Then we're going to remove the extra putty on those engines as well, and basically nothing too hard to work on, and I have to say that it went pretty smooth. Of course, you have to be a little bit careful sometimes not to destroy some of the other parts. Now we're gonna put the anti-ice on them, or the engine lip, depend on how you want to say it. And then of course we're gonna remove, we're gonna fill all the gaps, and there was a little bit of adjustment issues, and I've used for that some white Tamiya putty this time. The white Tamiya putty is a little bit thinner, it's a little bit easier to work with. You can remove it much easily than the gray one, and depending on the job I do, I decide to choose one or the others. Now what we're going to do, I'm using some masking tape to mask all the inside of the engines as I'm gonna paint the engine lip. So for this I use some very small paper, and then I could adjust everything all around the engine and cover the fan disc, and of course the gray part that you saw earlier. So this way we'll be able to do a pretty good job. After that we're gonna rescribe some panel, as when you sand down, you know that you are losing sometimes the panels. So the panel lines, basically I'm using a razor blade saw and then a rescribing tool. And then once this is finished, we're gonna glue our engines to the plane itself. There was a little bit of a fiddling and adjustment, but nothing too difficult to handle, and it went very easily. And after that, well, we're gonna start putting some masking tape on the windscreen, and for this I use also a toothpick to get really the correct size of the windscreen, and then I use a very sharp knife, or a razor. It's not a razor blade, it's a scalpel blade. And for this, after that, of course, the toothpick once again, and then you can cut and have really the windscreen at the correct dimension. So for this is working very easily, and that's the trick basically that you should do if you want to have to paint your cockpit and to have some more details. You can also purchase some masking tape for the windows and the windscreen on some kits, and that works as well very well. But as you could see, for the windscreen, nothing really too difficult, nothing that you should not be able to handle. After that, it's time to go to the paint booth, and I usually paint the wings with a very light gray. I also painted after that the undercarriage. Once this has dried, I had to put some mask, and I used some metallic paint for the engine cowl anti-ice, the leading edge as well, and the APU exhaust and the leading edge of the stabilizer. After that, we had just to finish with a nice clear white layer, or this Matterhorn white as they would call it, some different places, and nothing too difficult as usual, just a little bit of time and patience. The white was very thin. Normally I add up to a third, sometimes a little bit more of Tamiya diluent, and this helped to get more to avoid to have a too thick paint, and then you can have a really nice layer. Once everything was dried, it was time to decal the aircraft. So for this I used just the decal straight out of the box, the decal from Revell, and I have to say that they are really good decals. They are really user friendly, very easy to use. And as you can see in the kit descriptions, you have also all the colors, so it's very easy to do this job. So initially I did all the logo, and the good thing is when you also have the window frame as decals, and that will give you a little film that will mask basically the window, so you don't need to use crystal clear for those windows, which is a good thing, because you have a more realistic you could have a more realistic result at the end. So while we are finishing decaling, the decals are drying up, we're gonna start preparing the undercarriage. And for this, basically, we have to paint all the tires, and for this I use a matte black from Tamiya, and my old paintbrush has been following me all over the world so far. Then we're gonna put the struts. For that, painting the struts with metallic paint, and then I'm using also an anthracite paint, dark metallic paint for the brake unit. Then we're gonna fix all the wheels together, and it will be time to do the final assembly on the undercarriage. And I have to say that it is really easy to work with. This kit of Revell is a very nice little kit, very easy to work with, so not much to complain. After that, of course, we're gonna fix the undercarriage on the nose gear, and for this I was a little bit too fast. As you can see, I put the gear door too early, and I should have put that only at the end once I put the nose gear, and I damaged, unfortunately, the decal on the gear door. Then we're gonna just add the main landing gear, and this is the final result of that Embraer 190 from Lufthansa Regional. I hope you enjoyed that build with me. I have to say that I really did, and it was really a nice, easy kit to do. And if you did so, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done it so far, and I will see you soon for another build video. Thank you for watching.